Hey guys, so this week we are moving on from our review of Module 6. So we're going to start Lesson 8. But first thing I just want to go over, because I noticed this last week, not everybody, but a decent amount of people, when we were doing the place values and figuring out what the value of each digit was in the place values, a lot of people could get the hundreds, the tens, and the ones completely fine. But then some people seem to be confused about tenths and hundredths, so I just want to go over that again. So, just off the bat, if I was to say just a random number like 7/10, and I wanted to write that as a decimal, I know you would all give me this, right? That's 7/10, right? Because we got a 0 point and then a 7 in the tenths place. Now, what I was seeing was this. People could see that, well, we have a 4 in the hundreds, so that's actually worth 400. I'm just going to put them under here. If there's a 2 in the tens, what's that actually worth? It's 2 tens, so it's 20. And then if you have 3 in the ones place, it's 3 ones, or 3. And of course, we got a decimal. So what I was seeing was some people they would look at the tenths and they would say, well, what's the digit in the tenths? It's a 5. Tenths is the first place after the decimal to the right of the decimal. It's a 5. And some people were writing that this 5, it was actually equal to, some people would put 50. And then other people in the hundredths, they would say this 6 is actually 600. Now, does this look right to you? 423 in 50 and 600? No, because remember, this is still 10. There's tens with an S, and there's tenths. In tenths, in hundredths, they're both after the decimal, to the right of the decimal, which means they're even smaller than ones. So imagine on this side, you have the smallest numbers. And then if I was like to draw an arrow, it's a terrible arrow. If I was to draw an arrow, as the numbers go left to the left, they get bigger. So hundredths is smaller than tenths. Tenths are smaller than ones. Ones are smaller than tens. And tens are smaller than hundreds. So this 5 in the tenths place, it doesn't equal 50. And this 6 in the hundredths place does not equal 600. This 5 is actually 5/10. How would you write that? The actual value of that 5 is 0.5, 5/10. And then what's the value of this 6 in the hundredths place? It's not 600 hundreds places over here. It's 6 hundredths. That means there's 6 in the hundredths place, which is 2 after the decimal. So this is the actual value of that 5 in the tenths place. And this is the actual value of that 6 in the hundredths place. And now it makes a lot more sense because we have 400s. We have 420, 3, 5/10, 600ths. The numbers get smaller as we go to the right, and they get bigger as we go to the left. 600ths to 5/10 to 3 ones to 20, 2/10 to 400s. So remember, when you're looking at the actual value of tenths and hundredths, this is not it's not 5/10s, it's 5/10, which means 0.1. It's 5.1s, 5/10, which is 0.5. The same thing for hundredths. So you're going to see that again. We're going to redo the place value charts, and I'm going to be looking more for tenths and hundredths because everybody got hundreds, tens, and ones right. But so try to remember this. And just the other new thing we're going to be introduced to is we got a little taste of it before, and I know people have done something like this before, but is writing in expanded form. Now, writing in expanded form, it's actually where's my sketch? It's actually kind of the same thing as this. It has to do with place value. So when we write an expanded form, we're kind of looking at this number right here. I have 356 and 72 hundredths, or 0.72. I have this number, and I want to write it so that I can see uh, kind of see the place value in a way that's like through multiplication. And let me show you what I mean. Like if I want to look at, I know where the hundreds place is. It's right here. How many hundreds do I have in this number? Well, in expanded form, when we write that, it's always write the number, the amount you have of each place value. I have three, and I have three hundreds, three 100s. And that's like almost saying I have three 100, so I have three times 100, right? Because three times 100 is 300. I could write 100 plus 100 plus 100, but that would take up way too much room. But this way I can see how many hundreds do I have? I have three. So then we continue. So now let's add the next place value. So then we go to tens. How many tens do I have? I have five. So always put the amount you have first. I have five. And I have five tens. And we keep adding. How many ones do I have? I have always put the amount first. I have six. Six ones. Now, how many tenths do I have? I have 7/10. So how would that look in expanded form? Will it be 7? I always put the amount first times what place value we're in. We're in tenths. So I have 7/10. And if I add, we got one more place value. How many hundredths do I have? I have 2. So always put the amount first. 2 times hundredth. I have 2 hundredths. So this is expanded form. You've probably seen expanded form before with probably just addition in place value, but in this way, when we have like numbers like these decimals, expanded form just lets you think about the number in a different way. So now it's like seeing how much of each number in each place value you have. So you have 3 hundreds, you have 5 tens, you have 6 ones, 7 tenths, 2 hundredths. That's actually not a hundredth. I'm sorry, that's a thousandth. That's a hundredth. That was a mistake, sorry. So when you're gonna see this on your work today, so look what the number you have, and then write it out in expanded form like I did. And I know that seems a little tedious and kind of annoying, but it's another way to look at a number and to understand what the actual values are, especially with tenths and hundredths. So good luck with that today. I will be on Google Classroom if you have any questions, and I will see you tomorrow.